Welcome back. President Trump is taking another push to limit birthright citizenship in the U.S. He signed 2 executive orders yesterday, one aimed at limiting the number of people eligible for citizenship after their birth in the U.S. The other seeks to curb birth tourism by increasing restrictions on visitors who want to come to the U.S. to have their child. In June, the Supreme Court rejected the president's previous effort to limit the constitutional protection of birthright citizenship.
All right, joining us now, our chief legal analyst, Khalif. You've said in the past something related to birthright citizenship would have to go through Congress. Obviously, this is not an act of Congress. So what is your take on this?
Well, I'd say that we've already been down this road before, that birthright citizenship is something that's guaranteed by the Constitution, and no executive order can strike that down. But that birther tourism that Andy talked about in the beginning, that's not the first time we're hearing this, right? It was, if you listen to the oral arguments, they talked about it during oral arguments. Sauer says when he's there that we're in a new world order where 8 billion people are one plane ride away from having a child who is a U.S. citizen. And Justice Roberts came right back and said, well, it's a new world. It's the same Constitution. That's telling, because he said your guys' argument regarding this birthright citizenship using the executive order to get rid of something that the Constitution allows is dead on arrival. However, it opens up the door for you to have this other conversation about what enforcement looks like and what access looks like and what the process will look like. And so now President Trump takes it away from that hearing and says, all right, what we can do is now limit who we allow in. If we recognize that there's 8 billion people that can fly here and now have a child, and we can't stop them once we let them in, now we'll just make sure I have policies on ensuring that we scrutinize the type of people that we let in. Look for folks that are potentially pregnant or having children. Look for folks that are participating in some type of scheme to bring folks here just for the sole purpose of touching their feet on the ground and having a child. So that's what this executive order is intending to do. Limit the amount of folks you let in so that you won't have to worry about the argument of are they citizens once they get in.
The numbers on birth tourism, though, are limited, right? We don't really have a lot of data on that. So how would you go about proving birth tourism, right?
I think it's going to be, I mean, first of all, it seems to be discriminatory on its face from the very instance that you see someone that may be pregnant, may have the look of being pregnant. I mean, if you did that outside of this entry into the country aspect, folks would be confused and frustrated that you even attempted to do that. But now putting it to the context of I'm checking to see if you are pregnant, I think that's the first line. It directs the State Department to scrutinize visa applicants suspected of traveling to U.S. primarily to give birth. And so, I mean, they're making these allegations as if there's some widespread account of it occurring. And so I'd like to see the statistics to show that. And if the stats show that, hey, there's organizations or companies that are out there, you know, getting plane loads of people to come to America for the sole purpose of having children, I think this is something that will be beneficial. I just don't think the numbers will support the argument.
One thing that I want to bring up, because obviously we had the World Cup this summer, the case of Folarin Balogun, the key striker for the United States, Flo, as you may know him. His mother was too pregnant to travel back to England. She had him here in the United States, and that's why he has American citizenship. In that case, though, would you be able to look at that and say, well, did you come to the United States for the intent of having a child? Did you know there was a possibility? And when would those questions happen? And legally, what rights would those people have to answer that or not answer
And that's the scary part. The questions are going to be happening right at the door of entry. And so you're now empowering a person, an officer, this individual to make a determination of a enter or not to enter. And now you're emphasizing and scrutinizing what they're looking for. So once they make it through and that visa is stamped and you're here, it's a done deal. We go back to and defer to what the Supreme Court just said. They're here. They are subject to the jurisdiction of. Guess what? Now they will be able to have the rights of a United States citizen. And so that child born here would be a U.S. citizen. Stopping them prior to any of that happening is all that this is instructing the administration is asking the folks to do.
All right. So what happens immediately next?
I think there'll still be litigation after this. I think something like this will still have the same organizations that sued with the first executive order. They'll sue again. I think it'll be less successful than the first one. I think the Trump administration will be within their right to instruct those Border Patrol folks and people at our ports of entry to scrutinize for this. So for sure, litigation, but I think they will not be successful when taking it to court.
Okay, our chief legal analyst, Khalif, weighing on that for us. Khalif, thank you.
Queen City News Plus. Just search Queen City News on your smart TV's app store.